John chapter 8, beginning in verse number 7. We accounted yesterday on the broadcast how that the scribes and the Pharisees, they had brought this woman and had cast her into the midst of those who were sitting around hearing Jesus teach in the temple. And they said to Jesus, "The law of Moses says, this woman who has been caught in the very act of adultery needs to be stoned." Well, the truth of the matter is, if you go back to the Old Testament law, you'll find that there's a lot of reasons for stoning people. And one of the things it tells us in the Old Testament scriptures is that when somebody is brought before the authorities with the intent of stoning them for whatever it is that they did, that it had to be at least 3 witnesses, because if there's only one witness, stoning wouldn't take place. So basically, what was going to happen here was that these men who had brought this woman to Jesus, they were going to stand as the witnesses. In other words, we witnessed it, we saw it. But now, that just brings more questions into my mind, but I'm not going to pursue that right now. We're going to deal with this thing that is referred to as adultery, because you have to understand there is a difference between adultery and fornication, because adultery would involve somebody of the two that were involved in this thing. Somebody was married. And so not only did you have the action of the sin, but you also had the breaking of the vows, the commitment. You see, I tell this to people who come to me wanting me to conduct a wedding and marry them. And I tell them, I said, this thing that we call love, it's a little difficult sometimes to comprehend and to fully understand it. Because people, when they're young and they're emotional and she's so beautiful and he's so handsome, they're often not taken into consideration 50 years when they're not as beautiful and not as handsome. And where is the marriage relationship then? So I say that the stronger of the emotions is commitment. Commitment is a ticket. I mean, to stay married to somebody, as long as Tammy and I have been married together, that's been a commitment. And I know people who've been married a whole lot longer than us. But we're committed to the vows of what we made, and that's much of the strength of the relationship. So somebody in this, of these two, had not only committed the act, but they had violated the very commitment that they'd made to somebody else, which to me makes the sin even greater. But that's not the lesson that we learn here, because basically what we find is Jesus doing what Jesus did. And he brought mercy, mercy, mercy and grace. Hallelujah. Boy, am I so thankful that my Lord loved me so much to extend mercy to me. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.